Oh, isn't that sweet? Musk is channeling his inner special needs child. Right on stage with the guy who he said was too old to be president. Trump would be 82 at the end of term, which is too old to be the chief executive of anything, let alone the United States. Well, that's an absolute statement. He's not walking that back because Trump's not going to get any younger. I don't hate the man, but it's time for Trump to hang up his hat and sail off into the sunset. In reply to this video.
Nah, he's got himself a mess. You know, he said the other day, oh, I've never voted for a Republican. I said, I didn't know that. He told me he voted for me. So he's another bullshit artist. But
All in.
So he's another bullshit artist.
Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here.
The goal of New Twitter is to be as fair and even-handed as possible, so not favoring any political ideology, but just...
All in.
Musk going all in on Trump is one of the weirdest things ever. If only there were a super simple explanation that explains everything. Oh wait, there is. Musk is going bankrupt. Big time. And the only thing that'll maybe keep him out of jail is a presidential pardon. Precious need a pardon. Now, how can I know this? Well, Musk really only has two businesses, SpaceX and Tesla. Twitter, I'm not even counting, as he funneled some $40 billion into it, and it's lost some 80% of its value. That is, it's now worth less than about half of the $13 or so billion loan he took to buy the company. That is, its actual net worth to Musk is about minus $5 billion, that sort of thing. That is, if you were to offer to buy Twitter for a dollar, you would actually make Elon Musk's net worth go up by $5 billion. And it's certainly not making enough money to pay off the billion or so dollar interest he was meant to be paying on that loan. In fact, that loan is how we know that the company has lost some 80% of its value, because the people who lent him that money have to account for how their investment is going. Now, we know that Tesla is failing, firing some 10-20% of their workforce on a whim, sales going down everywhere, and competition from every other real car maker on the planet, while they have no new models. Except for the Cybertruck, which was a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, we dug our own grave with Cybertruck, you know.
But in terms of revenue, globally, they're pulling in about $100 billion. Not profit, mind you, as we'll soon see. If you wanted to look at the profit of these things, it's basically down to government subsidy. Now, SpaceX launches some 100 or so rockets per year at some $50 million a shot. That's what, $5 billion of revenue per year, right? Oh no, wait, sorry, 2/3 of those rockets are their own Starlink satellites, which aren't making the company any money. So their actual revenue from launching other people's stuff is some 30 or so rockets per year at some $50 million a shot. That's what, $1.5 billion a year. Only a fraction of that can possibly be profit. And it's not. They're burning $2 billion a year on Starship. Even if you include the lucrative government contracts that SpaceX price gouges the US taxpayer on, you're probably only looking at about $3-4 billion, that sort of thing, of revenue. Yeah, I'll put a link below to where Musk says that the Russians used to charge $20 million a seat to go to the International Space Station, and then when they retired the shuttle, they price gouged the US taxpayer for $80 million for a seat to the ISS. And now he charges the US taxpayer $70. But basically, SpaceX is small potatoes numbers compared to Tesla. Put simply, if Tesla goes to the wall, the whole thing financially crashes to the ground in something that will make Enron look like an appetizer. You see, Tesla stock is at least 10 times overvalued, meaning that when it does crash, it'll leave a $500 billion hole in the market. Enron, for reference, was about 1/10 of this size. And it'll make corporate frauds like FTX and Theranos pale into insignificance.
You're fucked, dude. I'm fucked. If we lose, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way.
Oh, hang on. Wait, they got 10 and 20 years respectively.
You can't just be like, yo,
Yeah, I'm like, How long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think? Will I see my children? I don't know.
Yeah, things suddenly start to make a lot of sense. Which is why going all in on Trump is such a clearly desperate move. Electric cars, which constitutes most of Musk's businesses, are the province of tree-hugging Democrats, not the party of drill baby drill, more oil.
We're going to drill, baby, drill right away. Drill, baby, drill.
Well, I mean, I suppose he still has his third or so of his car sales from China. Damn straight he's not going to rock that Apple card by criticizing China. That is, Mr. Free Speech Absolutism becomes quite the obedient lapdog when it comes to China. But in the China market, Tesla really is a bit player. So now, after going all in on Trump, he's down to sort of single-digit type approval numbers from his customer base. This is the metaphorical equivalent of buying a horse, shooting it in the leg, and wondering why it doesn't run as fast. And then wondering if a headshot will improve its performance even more. Sorry, it's the metaphorical equivalent of buying a business that is essentially 100% dependent on advertising dollars, then telling the advertisers to
Go f*** yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
This is it! This is the sign!
Yeah, it's a sign, all right. We're going out of business.
until the interviewer points out, actually, are you aware that you've just kind of announced that you're committing corporate suicide there?
Right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. No. Actually, what?
I gotta stress, this wasn't some great setup gotcha question. This is just like the most obvious question, which shifts Musk from this.
What do you do?
Why?
I understand that, but there's a reality too.
To this.
Sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. No. Actually, what?
It's basically this.
What do you do?
Godspeed, Spider-Man.
I understand that, but there's a reality too.
Oh.
And then when the advertisers do leave, suing them for not advertising and declaring war on them and wondering why your business has lost some 80% of its value. If only there was some sort of explanation for this. You know, with business acumen like that, Musk is really qualified for a role in, say, the Department of Government Efficiency.
Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making
Yeah, I mean, we dug our own grave with Cybertruck, you know.
recommendations for drastic reform.
And generally, I find nobody digs their grave better than themselves.
And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
I mean, just think about it. He could do for America what he did for Twitter. Now, all of Elon Musk's businesses feed off government subsidies. Tesla is subsidized to the tune of some $7,500 per car.
And it's like, do you really think that a Biden administration is going to subsidize me? Probably.
Yes, you moron. It's there on your website, including $7,500 federal tax credit from, what administration is it at the moment? It's the Biden administration. So let's see, some 500,000 cars at $7,500 tax credit each. Let's call it 5. That's a $2.5 billion per year. You're talking about a man who gets $2.5 billion per year off the US taxpayer and lies to your face like this.
And it's like, do you really think that a Biden administration is going to subsidize me? Probably not. Are you kidding?
But for the last 10 or so days before the election, Musk has decided he's going to give away $1 million a day to someone who will sign a petition for his political action committee for Trump. He's going to give one of the little people $1 million.
It's time for Who Do You Trust? Hubba, hubba, hubba. Money, money, money. Who do you trust? Me? I'm giving away free money.
Maybe in a last-ditch attempt to actually get someone to like him. Sorry, it was to sign a petition to support the First and Second Amendments that curiously was only for non-registered voters in swing states. You know, like Musk doesn't really care about First and Second Amendment in non-swing states or for registered voters. Yes, a remarkably generous offer, giving away $10 or so million to the little people. From the man who this year alone, for Tesla alone, got about $2.5 billion from the US taxpayer. That is, Musk is taking less than 1% of the money he got from the people and giving it back to them as he chooses to try to get someone elected.
And if we're, for any given expenditure, we have to say, well, what does this do for the citizens of America? Like, how is this good for the people of America? It's their money.
On the grand scheme of things, Musk getting his Political Action Committee, which is not legally allowed to coordinate with the campaign. Oh, yeah, this is kind of awkward. But for those who haven't spotted the pattern yet, it typically takes years for rich people to end up in jail. And for Musk, this really is an all-or-nothing type play. If you win, you get your pardon for all of your crimes and avoid jail. And if you don't, you're likely going to end up on the pointy end of the stick. Not just for all this stuff which is highly legally questionable that you're doing with the election, but also for when Tesla and SpaceX crash quicker than a maiden flight of Starship. Now, when Musk bought Twitter, he said it was going to be politically neutral. Then he started getting this weird, reoccurring dream about the prison door slamming shut and the lights going out and the smell of sweat and fear. Which is why Musk went almost immediately on to backing Ron DeSantis, saying that Trump should sail off into the sunset because he was fundamentally unsuitable to be president. And Trump said that when Elon Musk came to the White House and asked for help on his many subsidized projects,
The amount of waste that happens with the federal government is really staggering. It's a staggering amount of waste of taxpayer money.
his many subsidized projects, whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere.
And if we're, for any given expenditure, we have to say, well, what does this do for the citizens of America? Like, how is this good for the people of America? It's their money.
Electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere.
Like, for some weird reason, a lot of people in the sort of, state or whatever, the politicians, they seem to forget that the money being spent is your money.
Without which subsidies he'd be worthless. And telling me how he was a big Trump fan and a Republican, I could have said drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it.
Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here.
And Musk's killer argument, when he was saying that Trump was fundamentally too old to be president, was an absolute statement. You can't suddenly become not too old to be president. And what's his argument now as to why Trump should win? Because he's good under fire.
The true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire.
I'm not entirely sure that's a good metric of a leader.
There was a bomb explosion.
If only there were some examples from history about people who were good under fire.
We went to Hitler's bunker and we met him.
And of course, guaranteed there will be people as we speak typing Godwin's Law into the comment section. No, this isn't Godwin's Law. That's comparing your opponent to Hitler. This is just the logical conclusion of Musk's argument.
America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire.
He said, you see, the fate has saved me for my mission.
Intervention is happening, frankly, by the grace of God.
It is a divine intervention by God that President Trump is not dead right now.
A maternal hand guided the bullet. One cannot help wondering why she didn't guide it to miss him altogether.
The fate has saved me for my mission. I am to do what I must do.
If you didn't believe in miracles before Saturday, you better be believing right now. God, Lord, a shield of protection.
Yeah, for the record, statistics show about 75% of presidents survive assassination attempts.
Others might think the team of surgeons who operated on him for 6 hours deserved at least a share of the credit.
And another who was fist pumping after getting shot.
Which is like nobody's even bothering to try to kill Kamala because it's pointless. What do you achieve? Nothing.
No, it's totally
Just find
right.
another puppet.
Exactly. That's.
Hate to burst your bubble with facts here, but presidential assassination attempts by Americans are usually motivated by mentally ill loners, not politics. Let's see. Reagan's would-be assassin tried to kill him because he didn't like his politics, right? Oh no, wait. He did it to try to impress Jodie Foster and was deemed mentally ill. Or Theodore Roosevelt, who someone attempted to assassinate because he wasn't a puppet who could be easily replaced. Oh no, wait. His assassin said that a ghost came to him in a dream and told him to avenge him by killing Roosevelt. And hell, apparently someone has tried to kill Biden by driving a boxcar into a security barrier at the White House with a van and a Nazi flag, and said his stated goals were to kill the president and seize power. And Trump's would-be assassin was a loner Republican with issues and an AR-15. And again, the metric if someone is good or not isn't if someone's tried to kill them. I mean, by Musk's logic here, no one's tried to kill him. It would be pointless. There'll just be another asshole billionaire leech sucking billions from the teat of corporate welfare. And that's why no one's tried.
Pointless. What do you achieve? Nothing.
No, it's totally
Just find
right.
another puppet.
Exactly. That's.
Yeah, Musk's logic is completely flawless. I can see no problems with it at all. As for it not changing anything and she's just a puppet, sure, that whole Doctor of Law thing and the being Attorney General of California, that was all just for show.
America is the home of the brave.
Sorry, I can't but help notice something odd about this picture. What might it be? Oh right, you're talking about bravery from behind a bulletproof screen, with heavily armed Secret Service snipers on all the nearby rooftops. Now, it wasn't an act of bravery that got Trump shot, it was an act of stupidity of having rallies outdoors because they were too cheap to pay for an indoor event which they could secure. Apparently there are a quote we could all learn something from, like sweat saves blood, blood saves lives, and brains saves both. That was from Erwin Rommel, who was actually implicated in the assassination attempt of Hitler, and was given the option between taking a cyanide capsule and being buried with full military honours, or stand trial for treason. He chose the former. But key was brains saves both. This wasn't bravery, it was stupidity, which is why you are now currently behind a bulletproof screen.
America is the home of the brave.
But evidently not the home of the smart. You know, it's kind of like putting up bulletproof screens after the sniper's already been shot.